Je moet het dingetje weg doen.
Ja.
Moet het dingetje.
Okay. So.
Hello, Seoul. We are very happy to be here today with you. This picture shows a typical Dutch polder landscape in the country where we grew up. The famous Dutch graphic designer Wim Crowell once said in an interview, "If you manage to keep in mind that a straight line will always indicate the shortest distance separating 2 points, you will have come a long way. Curved lines mean unnecessary detour."
And this picture shows a typical French landscape. Our life in France usually takes us through small country roads. Important in the French culture is that it is not essential that you arrive somewhere. It's more important in how you arrive there. So we would like to show you 3 projects in 3 different places. They illustrate for us how the content leads us to find the adapted form, revealing the elements that make a subject interesting. The first project is made in the city of Le Havre. Annette talked already to you from this city. Le Havre is a harbor city, and it's for us the most modern city in France. Each year in this city, there is a graphic design festival. It's called the Graphic Season. For the 2012 edition, they invited us to make an exhibition about our work. A part of the invitation is to make a poster of your own exhibition. To better understand the city of Le Havre, you have to know that the city center was destroyed during the Second World War. After the war, it was rebuilt. The project of the reconstruction was designed by Gustave Perret. He based his project on a grid, based on the structure of the old middle-aged city. The grid was applied from the biggest overview to the smallest detail of the reconstruction. It was even applied inside the houses. Today, the city is qualified Heritage of the World, UNESCO.
To imagine our poster, we were guided by 2 main ideas. One was this famous grid of the city, and the second was the subject, ourselves. A memory of our childhood is a play called Mini-Stek. You can create images with these small pieces of mosaic stones. The slogan of this play is "Paint without making dirty spots." The Mini-Stek building blocks only has 29 colors and 5 basic forms. The size of one building block is 4 by 4 millimeters. The size of the poster had to be the French standard size of 118 by 176 centimeters. We needed to build our image by almost 82,000 mosaic stones. The production time, we calculated, was 480 hours only for one person. We only had 3 weeks to realize the poster. To make it able, we divided the work in 20 parts, and we gave a workshop at the art school of Le Havre and asked the students in return to help us to make this poster project possible. So 20 students helped us to realize it. Here you see some image of the making. The original Mini-Stek poster was exposed during the exhibition. The silkscreen posters were hanging in different places in the city center. The exhibition was held in May 2012. At the same time, the French presidential elections were held. When we discovered the relationship between the 2 candidate posters and our exhibition poster, we were pretty confused. Yes, thank you. For the second project, we go to the city of Limoges, in the heart of France, where the National Museum of Porcelain is located. Limoges is the main place of the porcelain industry in France. One of the synonyms of porcelain in English is China. Porcelain is produced and commercialized for more than 1,000 years. It appeared almost 800 years ago in Europe. Making porcelain was a secret know-how, a mystery. Porcelain is made essentially with two minerals, betunce and kaolin. When those two minerals are heated to 1400 degrees, you obtain a kind of glass called porcelain. Those two minerals were found in the surroundings of Limoges. It's for this reason that the porcelain industry was created in this area. It was at the end of the 18th century. Today, when you say Limoges, you say porcelain. The Porcelain Museum was founded in 1845 by Adrien Dubouché. His name is still connected to the museum. The building was designed in the Art Nouveau style by the architect Henri Mailleux. He also designed a remarkable museography, now a national monument. The museum exposes about 15,000 objects. After the museum renovation and extension, designed by the Austrian architect Boris Podreka, the museum reopened its door in 2012. The renovation project made it necessary to design a signage project and also a new graphic identity for the museum. After the pitch, we were chosen to do the project, but the subject created a small problem between us. I had a very romantic view on the project. Limoges and its porcelain wake up beautiful souvenirs and lovely holidays with my parents in France. It brought up nostalgic feelings.
Well, I didn't find this subject of table art an interesting for an interesting modernity. So we didn't agree with each other how and if we wanted to continue this project. Finally, we found a kind of agreement to design a typographic made of porcelain. It's not such an amazing idea for a graphic designer. An idea more driven by desire than based on meaning and concept. After visiting different manufacturers, we started making a test to check the visibility of the production of the typographic form in porcelain. And this happened with the types. So they broke one after the other. All the porcelain makers recommended us to stop with this idea and to imagine something else. In their opinion, what we wanted was technical, not possible. Our last chance was given by one porcelain maker, specialized in small objects. We had to rethink the typographic forms to find a solution for the problem. By adding a line on the top and the feet of the types, the problem of breaking was solved. The two horizontal lines created a space inside each type and avoid the type to change and deform during the heating process. It also underlines the idea of form and counterform, which makes sense for porcelain. Thanks to these technical restrictions, we finally found a concept for this project. And we proceeded to the design of the types, only in capitals.
Kun je de muziek hoger zetten, denk ik. Nog hoger.
After finishing this part of the work, we were able to start the production of the types for the signage system of the museum. Here you can see the plaster molds, the pouring of the porcelain paste, demolding the types, where you can see the relation between the form and the counterform. The finishing step, and the oven to heat at 1400 degrees, which is quite hot. In the oven, the types were reduced for 20%. To fix these types in space, we designed totems. They are placed all over the museum. They are visible from the front to the back side. These totems are made from thin metallic rods and are independent from the architecture. Some views of the museum with the typography and the sign system. For us, it was very important to read the material of the porcelain before read the words. This gives the project a rootedness in the territory of Limoges. The 11 themes of the museum are letters colored in blue, called Blue from Limoges, Bleu de Limoges. And practical information in white, very basic. In the left, the back side of the totem, in the right, the front side. The museum information was also printed on tablets in porcelain. To sum up, we wanted to use the porcelain in Limoges for this project so the visitors are aware of the contemporary character of this material.
For the offset printing, relief printing methods are being applied. It seemed obvious for us to continue the visual identity in the logic of these porcelain types. They created the identity of the museum. Here you see some examples of printed objects, leaflets. For children, special educational objects have been designed and edited. And 3 times a year, for temporary exhibitions, we design the posters and the graphic of the exhibitions. Here's some examples for the Zotzas exhibition. Posters for the Global Tour #2 exhibition, exchanges between students from Limoges and Shenzhen in China. This is a poster for the Before, Here and Now exhibition. For the Global Tour #3 exhibition, KO Exports Ltd. And our latest poster, made for the Korea 1886 Novel of a Traveler exhibition, an exhibition in relation to the France-Korea year. In 2014, the Stedelijk Museum for Contemporary Art in Amsterdam has acquired the project in its collection.
Well, it was quite incredible that the project where we didn't agree about finally ended up in the collection of this beautiful, wonderful museum in Amsterdam. The next project is in Paris, a city of culture, of many cultures, a city of theaters, and maybe the city for the next AGI Congress. The theater where we are working for in Paris is called La Colline, what means hill. La Colline is one of the 5 national theaters in France. We would like to consider theater as a mirror of our society. The issues of our society today should be clarified in theater. It's here and it's now. There are 2 halls in La Colline and around 15 representations every season. There is place for 1,200 spectators. Yeah. Every night. The theater is entirely devoted to contemporary theater. Text and settings scenes are from the last 50 years. Most of the representations are neo-creations. Our graphic project is based on these 3 basic elements: a quarter of a circle, a square, and a rectangle. These basic forms refer to the forms tools of the modernists of the early 20th century. With these forms, we make types. With these types, we make words. With these words, we can make sentences. And with these sentences, we tell stories. With the stories, we can clarify our lives. We also wanted to express the theater as a house on the hill, in the city, in society. We decided to use only this typography. No iconic images. Thank you. Good to do it together. Something very radical, which would be neither to be aggressive or obsolete, something different, so that people would say to themselves, in this theater I might see things I've never seen before.
Every theatre season starts with a general poster and booklet, with a particular approach. We also gave a general theme to each season. The first one was about heroic characters. The poster reminds of the heraldic language, the compositions, the color. The second year was based on the idea of the space on the scene. All four sides are occupied by the season year figures. We also put the name of the theatre in the center of all documents. We did this to underline the theatre is shining. It also structured all printed matters and created a strong identity. In the third season, we wanted to express the movement on stage. For the fourth season, we wanted to refer to the light on the scene. In the fifth season, we were searching for a different approach. We wanted to express strongly the content of the representation, although we kept the main principle of the identity. Niet te snel. For the 14-15 season, we discovered the latest Macintosh. All signs on the posters were made with this machine. In 2015-2016, the colors of the posters were directly made in iris printing on the silk screen machine. The pictures are made during the printing at Les Arts Graphique. That's the printer where we always print all our posters.
And the best. Well, some examples of publications in relation with the season image. An overview of the flyers to show you all the images of one season. Well, this year, a new director was nominated. For us, it gave us the opportunity to give the project a new direction. And it didn't change, we didn't change, which is normally. We keep the typography system, and we added the idea to use images of the hands of the creators of the show, the writers, the authors, or the theater makers. And this was the end. But before finishing, we would like to say a big thank you to the staff but also to the students of Paty. They were great. Thank you.